Previously on Rise of the Runelords. Okay, so here's Varissia. Chilling. Damn, that's a pretty sweet continent, you might say. Flat! Alright, ruling out the ice caps melting, meteors becoming crashed into us, the ozone layer leaving, and the sun exploding, the biggest threat is definitely Karzog coming back and taking over the place. Okay. So basically, we've got Tarnin, Grelda, Sinishi, Geisen, Gendrick, and Icky deciding to enter the meat room and see what it's like in there with the booming voice and the green glowing whatever. Anyway, when they enter and find that it's almost a coliseum, the green glows are pools of angry water, and shit, who the fuck is that giant dragon at the other end? Oh well, let's talk to it. So the group is like, shit guys, we need to stop this Karzog sons of a bitch before he gets enough sons of a bitch's souls to have his machine open some portal. And Gendrick is like, but I am a little worried about the uncle. Well, we'll go check on him. But then we stop as a Karzog! Meanwhile, Sinishi is asking questions that have this dragon like, WTF, mates? The group is debating if they have to fight the dragon after being told that all options seem to be heading to Karzog returning, and the group's like, Xanatos Gambit! Then everyone's like, about time to go see about Gendrick's uncle, eh, chaps? Righto. So, now our heroes are like, fuck this dragon guy, we've got things to do. Tarnin's like, kill you later. The dragon's still pondering Sinishi's questions like, WTF, but he'll be dead soon. Fucking winged kangaroo. But assuming they don't blow themselves up, the group teleports back to Hars, where they just have to worry about Tarnin making Grelda crazy, and finding Gendrick's uncle too. The end! But today, the adventure continues. Fucking winged kangaroos.
Then as we left off last time, you had just made it to the church. There was some craziness with an image of Tarnin and a moving pew that I'm just going to assume was handled. And that is and you were talking to the priest, and that is where we will pick up.
It was absolutely handled. Jill came to the rescue. Geisen made it worse. But I believe we all started going, downstairs.
I believe Tarnin had walked to the pulpit.
Yeah.
With the priest.
He had pretty much just headed through, because I think he just headed right down, because I remember us clarifying that nothing had to be. It was just an illusion. Yes. That he didn't. Nothing had to be lifted. He can just walk right through it. And yes. I think that's what we ended with, was him doing that. And to that point, who's driving Tarnin tonight? Did we decide that?
We did not. It can also be it can be a group effort if you would so choose. I know we've done that with Grelda in the past, where it's just kind of been a group thing. Grelda and Sinishi, I believe, we've just kind of
crowdsourced the
there you go,
their personality for tonight. I'm
so we'll say Tarnin, you see him begin to doing the Austin Powers stepping down, where he begins to descend from view. What are the rest of you doing as he starts to go down the stairs?
Just a refresher, why were we going down there? Was it just to make sure we can get back to that room? Because we don't actually want to go there yet, right?
Yeah, no, it was making sure, we were going to investigate to some degree of, if that portal to that room still was accessible.
Okay.
So Icky would just follow behind, if the whole Grelda pew kerfuffle is sorted, then he'll follow Tarnin.
I would say the pew is no longer askew.
Okay.
And all is well.
Whew.
I'm gonna back a bit because I don't want to get stuck in a small room again. I think I've had enough door play for one lifetime.
Oh!
Ah!
No, Icky knows there's more barrels of that wine downstairs, so he'll
All right, so Sanishi is staying up in the main chamber. Is anybody else staying with her, or is everybody else heading down?
I'm gonna stay with her. Girl to will.
Guys, will head down.
Kendrick's gonna head down.
All right. As the first Tarnan walks down, the priest follows right behind him, and then the three of you follow suit. And as you make your way down, you notice that the carnage that you had been a part of the day before is completely cleaned up. There is no blood on the floor. There are no bodies. The broken furniture has been removed. It's hard to tell unless you really look for signs of a scuffle that anything happened down here at all.
So I think at that point, like at seeing that, Tarnan would probably like look around, cock an eyebrow back at the priest, and he's like, "Your handiwork?"
Mine and a few others that I had that have helped with things in the past that I know will keep quiet.
I think Tarnan would probably make a perception check to see if he could find any evidence of our previous engagement down here.
Well, in that case, let me send. Actually, I think because you guys can't roll. Like if I send you the other player's sheets,
No,
roll
we
for
can't.
them, right?
No, I mean, I can roll a die or make a roll.
Well, here, I think I can roll for him. So just let me. There we go. All right. So you want to do a perception check?
Yeah. He's going to percept at it so hard.
Oh, 31. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, okay, so did that come through for everybody?
31.
Yep.
Okay, everyone. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody could see it. All right. Okay, so what was Tarnan looking for again?
Just any signs of the previous action that we had been a part of down here.
As Tarnan kind of like walks at the lead of the group, and he looks down at some of like the corners where the wall meets the floor, and around some of the barrels, you can see that some of the wood on the barrels has a dark red stain to it in certain places, and you can see some like dried blood in the corners where if you look, it's obvious that there was something that happened, and there's some scrapes on the stonework itself. So if you knew what you were looking for, you could see it. But to somebody just coming down here, just doing like a passing sweep, it would be a lot harder to tell. So they did a good job, but not a perfect job of kind of cleaning it up.
So he just kind of like maybe like scrape a fingernail at one of the bloody spots, just be like, "Oh, missed a spot," and then make his way back towards the pantry door or whatever it was.
All right, so by now everybody is kind of down in the main room, and as Tarnan makes his way to the pantry door, the priest does kind of raise his hand. If you're looking to go back through there, and then he reaches inside of his robes and pulls out the key that you had previously. You're going to need this if you would like to make whatever journey that is again. And he kind of holds it out to Tarnan.
I don't know what Tarnan would do at this point.
Well, you can just have Icky take over then.
Yeah.
We used to have that key.
Yeah. Yes. For whatever reason, whenever anybody uses the key to go wherever, it's the next morning. It always appears back up on the pulpit for the next visitor.
Huh.
Do you happen to know anything about how the passage works?
All I know is that nobody who goes down here through that door comes back this way. I have seen certain people come through multiple times, but they always come through the church. I've never seen anybody come back up from here, except for the guards. And the last time they went back up, it was in pieces. So,
Well,
So I think that proves we can get back.
yeah, I don't think
we
we
need
need to mess with that any further. And if the key just kind of magically returns to the pulpit every day, there's no point in trying to take it with us, is there?
Well, does it return when it's used, or
Good
is it just the
question.
next day?
we'd
probably inquire about that.
The only time it's ever been out of my possession is when it's used to open the door. So maybe.
Well, I suppose we can always just take it with us, and if we wake up tomorrow morning and it's gone, we know where it is, and if not, we've got it.
By all means, if you would like to take the key with you, please do.
If nobody objects, Icky will just reach out and you're like, all right, don't mind if I do. Just pluck it and squirrel it away.
The priest kind of leans in. I've always been curious, but I've never asked for fear of my life. What is through there?
Oh. Like and if nobody intervenes with Icky just like huffing and being like and it's like there were magic archways, there were some weird magic guys that we fought. No no booze in there, like
Gendrick would probably interject and be like, it leads to some kind of interplanal realm with a series of teleportation circles.
Ah,
yeah,
of course, exactly what I had suspected. I'm glad you were able to make it back, and the fact that you came back alive, I assume that your business with the Red Wizards was finished.
The
Do
ones we
I
encountered,
need to worry about them, I guess, is what I should be asking.
out of character, we didn't encounter all of them, right? Didn't we decide that there were some missing?
yeah, we only encountered like 3 of them, right?
5.
But I thought for some reason we thought there were more than 5. Am I remembering that correctly?
I mean, I think we can assume if the uncle is still being held in Tris Marigold, the city, that there's more of them there.
I have to say, Gendrick, I'm getting really concerned about how detached you're referring to your uncle at this point. Are you okay?
Oh yes,
the uncle.
That's just
his name is Cadmus.
Maybe
He
he's
is worried about the uncle.
He always preferred that I used his proper title as uncle. It's just,
capital U uncle.
yes.
The uncle. We don't know for sure if all the Red Wizards are gone, but surely some of their influence will remain.
Well, I suppose we'll see what happens.
If worst case scenario, if one of them or somebody connected to them comes back here, looking to get into that portal room, then you can just say, those guys from Sandpoint, they took it.
Yes, the Sandpoint 5, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There are 6 of you.
Because it's not about the number of people that are in the party; it's about the number of brain cells we have to rub together or something. I'm not sure, Tarnin.
Yeah, I think Tarnan's the only one that knows why the hell we're still in Sandpoint 5.
Yeah, I think he is the one who usually answers the question.
Something about pillars.
6.5. Well, do you need a place to stay this evening? Is there anything else I can do for you? Yeah.
But what time is it? I don't recall.
It's about 4 in the evening now because you teleported out of Sinshalast at about 2. I mean, it was 2 while you guys were at the meat room, so I'd say it's about 4.
Okay.
4 in the evening.
Well, is there any sense in us setting out for wherever our next destination is before nightfall, or do we want to just kind of?
I honestly don't think we planned completely where to go from here. Right? We had like a general idea, but I don't think we had a complete plan.
Okay,
So
well, let's go back and kill the dragon then.
Stay here and then discuss.
Okay.
I mean, were we gonna go out back to Dwayne and ride him?
Yeah. We're like,
where were we gonna ride him to? I don't know if we had really decided that.
yeah, I don't recall if we had gotten the. I feel like we got some extra context about where Cadmus is that was going to help guide our next steps, but I don't.
Oh, that's yeah.
If I made note of that, it was poorly.
Or were we gonna go through the teleport circle to the city where Cadmus is?
Yeah. I think part of our reason for coming here was to get Dwayne, right? As well.
Right.
I don't think we were confident enough about where the cities. Like where those destinations were.
Coming
right?
back here
Especially
was a
because we were
twofold
only
thing.
like portals.
We wanted to make sure we still had the portals, and we wanted to get Dwayne because Dwayne's just kind of sitting in wilderness right now.
Chilling. Like,
I mean, hopefully
it's a
chilling.
pretty sweet rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we trusted the portal to know what destination to choose, especially because we were told that only I think it was like 2 portals worked.
That is what Fenton had said.
What's the flying travel time approximately to Sandpoint from here?
Oh, let me see.
Because unless we're teleporting, we're taking Dwayne back to Sandpoint, maybe take a nap, then go to the next location.
Going to be. I'm opening the map right now so I can actually measure. Just a quick guess, at least a week. Because Dwayne's is it 130 or 140? You're muted, Nate.
130, I think.
130? All right. Hold on a second.
Let me double check that.
Okay, we'll say it's about there.
Yeah, I didn't realize we took about a week to fly down here. That's fine. I just forgot.
Oh, it's 144 miles per day.
I feel like we've asked this before, but Gendrick, do you have anything on you that's your uncle's?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I actually do.
It would be right about, it'd be a hair over 7 days. It'd be like 7.5 to take Dwayne from where you are to Sandpoint.
And from here to, I don't remember the name of the city.
Marigold?
Marigold, yes.
Well, here, let me switch the map really quick so everybody can see it. What you know about Marigold is that it was on the northwestern coastline somewhere. It's up past Arsmerel. So it's somewhere up in this general area.
Okay.
But you just know that it's somewhere up there. None of you have been there or seen it on a map. You know it's somewhere in that location. And from Sandpoint, flight time, because you'd have to go along the coast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because we're down in is it Harn? What was the name of it? Harse. Yeah. Okay.
You are right here.
Yeah. So it's like it's not an ideal place to get to here by foot or by air, certainly.
No. And from Sandpoint up to Armsmorel, whether you went one way or the other around the Verisian Gulf, it's gonna be in the 8-ish days time frame by Dwayne.
Yeah.
So just so you have an idea on what the travel time is going to be between.
Okay. Did we see? I can't remember. Did we see like a teleportation gate with a label to Marigold? Because I think we saw one to another city.
They all had the ancient
names,
right?
Yeah, Zin Gastash, Jin Shalast, Zin Sarushian. Yeah, so yeah, the old names.
Does everybody have them all? Otherwise, I can read them off for you again.
Zin Dasaril, Zin Shalast, Zin Gasash, Gin Sarusin,
Yep, Sarusian.
Zin Aruthia, Zin Haika.
Haruka.
Zin Haruka.
Yeah.
And
Zin
how much
Adasra.
longer does the uncle have before,
Days, I thought it was, or
It was 3 days when you went off to see the wizard. So, let me see. So it would have been with the way. So it was 3 days when you met the wizards. You've done full, I would say, in the 1.5 to 2 at this point. Because between, it'd be about 1 now. Because it was 3 days when you got to Harse, and then you waited until the evening, and then you did the 2 battles, and then you went to Zinshalas and rested, did that, and then came here. So 1.5 days ish until like the time frame you were given.
to the teleporter.
Yeah. Does anyone trying to think if anyone knows history or can perhaps I was gonna say some kind of comprehend language capability where we could say like the ancient name is more or less equivalent to something else today.
Actually, Icky now has a feat. I have this now, right? I do.
I believe so. And it's not a feat, it's I think it's just a class feature.
Yeah, class feature. Let's see here. Come on, where are you? Tongue of the sun and moon. You understand all spoken languages, and any creature that can understand a language can understand what you say. So,
does Dwayne understand a language, and or can he act like a carrier pigeon? Can someone instruct him to go home before we teleport out of here?
I don't think
Dwayne can follow instructions. He can be given a set of instructions and follow them.
Okay, we should probably take a short hike and have him fly home.
As soon as you're separated from Dwayne, like you can give him the instructions, and then there's no like telepathic communication after that. It's just like, hey, do this, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, Gendrick, did you look through your things and confirm that you don't have anything?
I don't believe I do.
Okay.
And then, kind of out of character, Tammy, did you ever decide on the language?
I hadn't put any more thought to it. I think I want to talk to you about, I can't remember like how much she just understands it or can speak it, or like
with the reading of it, I would say like it's fully comprehended. It'd be the same for you, like, common. If you were to know Elvish, it would be the same, like read, spoken, written.
Oh, actually, if I remember right, I think I actually used comprehend languages when we were down there because I was trying to read. There was some kind of text on the wall.
That is the only reason you were able to read what was above each of the portal areas, because they were written in a different language.
Okay.
So you use comprehend language, and that's when you were able to see the Zin Shalast, the Zin Gastash, the actual names of them.
So if those easily translated into a modern name, we would already know. I mean,
if Magnamar would have been written on it, you would have read Magnamar. But you all would know, like, Magnamar, that the city itself is less than 100 years old. The other one, or Corvosa, is right about the same. Like, the two major cities in Varissia on the continent that control most of the continent through trade and political factors are relatively newer cities.
Okay.
So these are not like 10,000-year-old cities. These are newer cities, at least like the settlement of them. Some of the structures are very old, like some of like the Earspan, that big like partial bridge that you guys fought in the clock tower under. That is old. That is an ancient piece of architecture. But the cities themselves are not ancient cities.
Is the rest of the group still like downstairs, not upstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you and Grelda are up there just by yourselves.
Okay. I want to double check that.
So during the discussion that's happening downstairs, Icky will make his way over to one of the other casks and just like give it a little knock, see if there's still like stuff in it.
There seems to be about as much as there was previously. It doesn't seem to have been tapped.
Nothing's changed. Cool. So Icky will pop the cork on one of the skins that he has of this stuff and start sipping, with the intent of filling it back up before departing.
All right. Icky, I'm trying to remember if I had described this particular... This was the Iris and Ice Wine, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Hold on. Let me check the notes. Yes, I believe it is the Iris and Ice Wine. So it is slightly sweet and very refreshing. And it hard to come by. You're still muted.
There we go. All right. Haha. So Icky just like sips, savors, and will, offer some first to Gendrick and just be like, hey, find your uncle, bud.
Yeah, Kendrick would take a sip. Might as well.
All right. So while this is all happening downstairs, just to double check, Grelda, Sanishi, is there anything like you guys would like to be doing or talking about? Because this is probably, I would say, is like 10, 15-minute discussion. So it's not an hour, but there is some time passing.
I have cut a piece of string to certain length, I don't know, and I am very meticulously working on lining up all of the pews so that they are perfectly spaced and beautifully straight.
Grelda is following the directions, so if Sanishi says move this here, Grelda is the one doing the heavy lifting.
I can't think of two ladies better to be moving heavy pews around a church.
I also can't think of anybody better suited for the current task.
Just for funsies, how good is the soundproofing down where they are? Can they hear like coming from above?
They can definitely hear the echoes of the pews being dragged. Yes.
Nice.
Because there is no actual like doors or anything. It's just the stone walls. So they know that you guys are still doing stuff. They might not know what that stuff is, but they know you're still doing stuff.
Excellent.
All right.
So just another possibility. I actually know how helpful it would be. With the magic item that I got down there from, what was he again? He was a goblin. I don't know.
The Gorblin
Wizard.
Yeah, whatever that guy was. Anyway, I have a few spells, access to a few spells I didn't used to if I use some charges. One of them is divination, where I could talk to a god or a god's servants and ask a single question, to which I would receive a truthful reply.
That's the one you used for the burning page last time.
Burning page.
When you asked about the best way to get back to Harse from down in that room.
Okay. I forgot I already used that. Okay.
That was before your 8-hour rest, and it's been basically a full day since then. So.
Okay. So yeah, so we could do that again. The other ones I have access to don't seem like they would be as useful. Unfortunately, there's nothing like if we had a way to see where your uncle was, like actually see it, then I could probably get us there. But without an object from there or being able to see it, I think our chances of just getting there with us being absolutely like having no familiarity at all with the area is going to be really not right.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have access to Roderick Quink's brain right now. Should have just he was teeny, right? We should have just fucking yoinked him with us.
He was relatively an old and frail man, so yes, there was not a whole lot to him.
Yeah. Should have. Yeah, he'd be able to tell us which one of these portals goes where in a heartbeat, I bet.
So somewhere in the distance, he turns over in his sleep, uneasy and nervous, because he would have loved this.
Actually, that's an idea of a question. We could ask which one of those portals brings us the closest to Marigold.
Yeah.
Or does one of these well, I doubt one of them takes us directly to Marigold.
No, I think the asking where's closest is sounds like a good way to figure out where we need to go from here.
Otherwise, I mean, if we're going to travel there by any normal physical means, even using Dwayne,
yeah,
we'll arrive way after the deadline, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think our best bets are to either, get a teleport as close as we can there. If you can somehow word your question just so we can find out which portal would take us the closest and how far away from it would then be, because if the closest one still takes us a 5-day Dwayne ride from it and we don't have Dwayne, that would suck.
Yeah, I feel like we might have not had all the logic pieces put together and we decided to come back here because it's almost seems like an impossible task to get there.
I think one of the main reasons you guys were talking about going back was just because you wanted to make sure you had Dwayne with you with whatever you decided after this. I think that was the repeated theme of that particular conversation.
There's no way in hell we're getting Dwayne downstairs and through this door, though. Is there?
We could turn him into a frog.
Yes.
I
don't think we can polymorph Dwayne. I think we've talked about this because he's technically a construct or something and not a living creature.
I believe that was a conversation that did happen. And yes, he is I know he is a magical construct as opposed to an actual living.
However, there does exist the capability to enlarge as well as shrink creatures that I possess.
Is it just
creatures or constructs and things?
What?
Well, You can cause a creature or an object to grow larger or smaller for only 1 minute. So if anyone feels like sprinting, and as long as we don't end up in a small space.
I just looked it up, and it does say that unless the specific construct has a trait like immutable form, then they should be able to have polymorph spells used on them.
So I could cast reduce, and it reduces an object or a creature in half in all dimensions.
But only for a minute.
Only for 1 entire minute.
So
A little risky.
from the reading that I've been doing really quick here, it says that constructs are that there are generally 2 categories, objects and creatures, and constructs fall under creatures, but many of them have the immutable form trait, which makes them immune to polymorph. So if Dwayne, if our DM agrees with that ruling and Dwayne doesn't have immutable form, we can frog him.
Nothing in the Qual's Feather token says this. Just says a bird has the statistics of a rock. That's all it says. It doesn't. Talons, sky, remote.
Are rocks magic resistant or something?
No.
How have we not done this before?
Rock is gargantuan though, so that would make him huge.
A rock is a gargantuan monstrosity.
So I could bring him down to huge, but he's probably still big for enlarged.
But you could probably still polymorph it. Okay. All right. One more. Let me look at the polymorph spell. Creatures you can see.
That removes a massive variable, because if we could do that, then we just say, hope for the best and go to wherever. And if that's not close, then we're just like, okay, well, uncles.
Okay, just reading polymorph, reading Qual's Feather token, and reading the rock, I don't see any reason why you could not polymorph Dwayne. I'm not reading anything in the rulings or in the wordings that would make it unattainable.
Let's do it.
That would be useful. It would be nice to have Dwayne wherever we go, but it doesn't really help solve the problem of where to go.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
But I mean, like as Gendrick was saying, I think that like it gives us a little bit more flexibility. With if the closest you can ask is, okay, which portal gets us closest to this place, and we take it, and it turns out to be fucking far, then was like, well, we tried. Let's come back here and go and see if we can pee in the dragon's eye.
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't think there's really any other options, given the scenario we're in.
And it's the uncle.
Hey, uncle.
Just being realistic.
Yeah, no, I think
it was a long shot to begin with.
And have we had a long rest? We have had a long rest since I last used divination, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you used it down in the Sahedron room. Then you teleported. Then you took a long rest.
So, I mean, we could attempt it right now, right? I could ask the question before we get ourselves trapped in that room again. See what the answer might be.
You could.
I think that's a good idea. But I think that it might not be a bad idea to either head upstairs and sync with our partners up there, or get them down here.
Oh, that's right. We don't have the whole party. Yeah. I agree with that. Let's head upstairs.
Okay. Icky will quick. No. He's just gonna keep sipping on his ice wine.
I have a feeling Tarnin would probably just head right up and explain the situation to the rest of the party.
No nonsense. Just gonna be like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Any objections to this plan?
None.
You few pew, folks.
I mean, we don't know the plan.
That's
they just told it to you.
Explained it to you.
I kind of wish we could get Dwayne's consent before we go polymorph him, because
Technically,
speaking from experience, I know that can be a little bit shocking.
The
but
first part of the plan, though, is just asking the question to find out if we're even going to go through the portals. So that's kind of step one, I feel like.
I mean, as long as it's quick and we don't end up like trying to take a short or long rest down there again, I can deal with it.
All right, and then, so if we're gonna do that, then I need a little help, maybe trying to come up with the right question to ask. I mean, I could ask, which portal will safely take us the closest to Marigold? Is there a better form of that question that I could ask?
I feel like portal exit, which of the portal, I guess we could even say the portals or the portal names has an exit that is closest to the modern day city of Marigold. I feel like we can be specific with it, and that should get us there, right?
Yeah. And there's no way that we could add any clever qualifiers to figure out how close it puts us out.
Depends if this deity considers it only one question or more, right?
Yeah. I suppose we could ask which of the portal outputs would be within a day's Dwayne ride of the modern day city of Marigold.
But then what if the only one that's close is a day and an hour? Then the answer would be none.
Let's call it within 2 days then.
What if it's 2 days and an hour?
Well, then it's too long, and because we only have a day and a half, right? Let's just figure out what our how late we feel comfortable being and ask for an hour longer than that.
But I guess the question then is let's say the closest portal is 2 days. So we'd be past the deadline. Does that mean we don't want to go anymore? I would
right. I mean, there's a certain point at which if we have to travel too long, then we think that it's not worth trying. We will go past the deadline that Gendrick was given, and that we're better off just going and trying to bulldoze down the big bads and hope that the crumbling structure saves his uncle.
I think that regardless of time frame, we want to go check on Gendrick's uncle. If worst case scenario, we miss the time frame, he's already dead, and we need to seek vengeance right the fuck away. Best case scenario, we get there in time, or they're lax with their time frame and don't actually murder him right away, and everything's good. I think.
Yeah, we also know that the wizards are in league with Kurzog, so if they have a location in this place, there may be valuable information for us, perhaps in our next step.
Good call. So yeah, I guess then just figuring out whichever one will get us there the closest.
Yeah, if that's less than 1 day, great. If it's 4 days, well, we did everything we could, right?
Yep. And we'll continue to.
Whereas I guess the other part, like it's not like I can ask 2 questions, so I can't really ask which one's the closest and how far away is it.
Well, right, and that was the trying to the game the system that I was trying to do with the. Yeah.
I think just asking which one is the closest as the rock flies is will do us good. I do think it might be important to add as the rock flies because, deity could decide to try to be helpful and only give us land options because none of us can swim.
Well, we also have to consider that Dwayne he can't, as the rock flies, but will eventually exhaust himself if it's too long. We need to have stopping points.
And how do we describe those portals? Like in a way that's clear, that can't be misinterpreted.
Fuck, I hate to say this, but maybe we wait until we're in the room and say, from the portals in this room, which will take us closest as the rock flies. God damn it, I don't want to be in
because then he may just be like, oh yeah, it's the entry to the magic chamber that will get you there. That's the closest door.
But
that's some monkey paw shit right there. Yeah,
that's a good point. Really
actually the friends you made along the way that will get you there the closest.
Okay, so if we're doing it from that room, so which of the portals? Which of the usable portals?
This is like some dealing with Jinn shit.
I love how Sean doesn't even have to try and come up with plot holes or pitfalls because we're just giving them to him.
Yeah.
Here are ways you could screw this up.
See, unbeknownst to you guys, I only had like the first 2 sessions planned out, and everything else has just been like me pulling your ideas and turning them into plot. See, this is why I don't come up with like puzzle traps, because this is more than enough.
Oh, I was really afraid if y'all had gotten to the puzzle trap I had in the one shot. That,
oh my god.
That
one shot would have been a 5 shot.
Like I was like, I don't like. I was trying to figure out like how long is this going to have to go before I just like. No, it had a built-in time component, whereas like if they don't solve it within like X amount of time, the room gets gassed and you end up in the boss room.
See, I've on all the like the D&D subreddits, I've all read that like picking out like riddles meant for 6-year-olds are the best way to fuck with the D&D group because everybody way overthinks them, and that'll just like that's hours of uncertainty.
Noted. So do we have our what questions do we have about our wording yet?
Well, why don't we take like 5? I don't know if you guys need to feed forward yet.
No, we could use at least another 45 minutes before we dive into all that.
Okay. Well, why don't we just take 5 instead of there just being like 5 to 10 minutes of pure silence? I mean, if you guys want to kind of talk about the wording of your question, that's fine, but everybody kind of take 5 and
okay.
One important question, do we know if it's the red-haired version or the dark-haired version of Marigold?
Whether it's the book version or you know what? All right. So we are back.
Okay, what do you guys think about this question? Which of the usable portals in this room will safely bring us to the shortest accessible path via rock to the modern-day city of Marigold?
I think we should specify what kind of rock we mean.
That's not. I had an avalanche, like the picture of an avalanche in my mind.
I mean, rocks don't move very fast, so.
Rolling.
Flying creature known as a rock.
Uh-huh.
I guess I could say the ROC, the rock, ROC. Isn't that how you spell rock?
Yes, that is how you spell
ROC, yes.
Dwayne to the ROC.
Yeah.
The bird rock or the rock. I don't know. Are they technically a bird?
I want to rock. Rock.
I wanna.
I don't want to add more to the question. I'm a little scared. Like, we teleport there, and technically, it's like a 5 foot by 5 foot like basement tomb or something underneath the city, and then we all just, I don't know, something bad happens. But let's just risk it and see what happens.
Or
I
could
will say,
accessible.
Sean does a lot, but he very rarely tries to murder us for not phrasing a question correctly. It's only happened once or twice. I'm sure it'll be
Listen,
fine.
the OGL was breaking down, so it's a perfect time for it.
It is the perfect time. I'll kill everybody and we'll just start a new campaign with a new gaming system.
How about the
look,
shortest accessible path via rock or via the hell do I say it for rock? If that's not specific enough. The creature.
Our flying construct friend Dwayne the Magic Rock Johnson.
Dwayne, I think Dwayne the Rock is probably fair because that is being very specific.
Yeah.
You're talking about someone else's rock.
Yeah.
This one. So
Okay, via Dwayne the Rock to Katniss Everdeen. Or what's his name?
Marigold.
Tris Marigold.
Wait,
No, he means your uncle.
City.
Cadmus.
What's the uncle's name?
Cadmus, not
Cadmus.
Cadmus
If
Everdeen.
if you say his name, honestly,
Cadmus.
the spirits may not know. Apparently, he prefers to be known as the uncle.
Yeah.
Take us to
The
uncle.
The shortest
Capital U
accessible
uncle.
path via Dwayne the Rock to Cadmus in the modern day
Cadmus
city of
the
Marigold.
uncle.
Cadmus.
Cadmus Crowflare. Yeah, let's not diagonal alley this, all right?
Yeah.
Crowflare.
Yes.
Cadmus.
Everdeen.
All right. Which of the usable portals in this room will safely bring us to the shortest accessible path via Dwayne the Rock to Cadmus Crowflare in the modern day city of Marigold?
Just sounds a bit dry, doesn't it?
I mean, it's legalese, so it kind of has to be, right?
The us in the preceding question refers to the Sandpoint 5
Yes.
with 6 members.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Careful.
Seymour,
though,
please refer to section 3A.
Section 3A, paragraph 4. The us.
The shortest accessible path via Dwayne the Rock to Cadmus Crowflare in the modern day city of Marigold with the most style possible.
Mhm. There you go.
and panache.
Nice.
Style and finesse way above the rest.
Okay. Does everybody think that question sounds okay? Anything we want to change? I mean, we're not using it yet because we have to go into the room, but just want to be prepared.
The only possible thing is that when we ask this question, Dwayne the Rock is going to be a frog. So we might want to specify in his original form.
Dwayne, so then he's technically Dwayne the Frog, then, isn't he?
Can we hop on the back of Dwayne the Frog Johnson?
Not safely.
We are still the Sandpoint 5, even though there are 6 of us. I think he is still Dwayne the Rock, even though he is a frog.
Okay.
It's the proper name.
I just thought of an possible issue with this. What if the shortest path is to teleport to somewhere that happens to have a teleporter which is closer?
Oh my God.
Just closer. That's 2 steps. We would never know
It's the bridge. It's the bridge.
I'm gonna.
Watching
like as soon as Sean just like kind of scooched back, and was just like, I was like, all right, no, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
While I think that your concern is valid, I think fuck it.
Okay. All right. So
Cadmus isn't worth that much trouble. Maybe I'd do that for the uncle, but fuck Cadmus.
Right.
we haven't rested since we last teleported, right? Like we just arrived at the church a little bit ago.
That is correct.
I won't be able to teleport until we rest. Take a long rest again.
That's fine, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we're not trapped in a small room, I might go fucking crazy.
Well, something tells me we can probably still rest in the little room that we rested in last time before we assaulted this place in the night.
Stable.
The stables outside.
Yeah. But it was connected. It like the stables are connected to the
they like come out from the church itself.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure we could also like rent some rooms if.
So as you guys have been kind of like chatting, the priest has been going around and kind of doing some cleaning and some tidying up. So he is still in the main room of the church, but he has kind of moved.
And during that, Tarnan will just every now and again, just like once he kind of finishes an area, he'll just be like from his prior assessment of the room, just be like, oh yeah, like over there. Yeah, okay, good. Good. But yeah, I get like as we're all like, and so as we're all talking about this, like Icky is passing around his ice wine skin. So anybody who wants to take a pull, is more than welcome. Pros. But yeah, I think that if like we want to kind of like just rest, to get your teleport ready and then head out from there, that sounds good to me.
Do we know roughly how much of daylight we have left? You said it's like 4:30 or something.
Like 4:30, so another 2.5 hours, since it is into late fall, early winter. So the sun is setting 6 to 7 in the afternoon.
And do we remember exactly how far away we left Dwayne?
It was about an hour walk to the north along the road.
So I mean, we could go now before it's dark and get Dwayne and bring him back, or we can go tomorrow.
Well, I mean, like it's real. Like I feel like you're the only one who needs a long rest. I feel like any other pair of us could just deal with it, like going and getting Dwayne, bringing him back, and then taking a short rest and some change.
And then just remember, polymorph is concentration and an hour.
So we'd have an hour, because the teleport is not concentration, right? That's just.
I do not believe so. No.
Would we be able to feasibly get Dwayne into the stable in his normal form?
No. A gargantuan creature into a horse stable.
No.
You would know that he is far, far too large. He would be out in the street.
Can we have him just like hover on top of the?
Yeah, we'd make the towns shit themselves, but we have asked him.
You did intentionally land him an hour away as to not provoke an attack, as has almost happened multiple times.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we bring him back, we're gonna have to have him in like visible while we're bringing him into town, right? Because
in order for like
our
Decisions.
Time is somewhat of the essence for getting Uncle. So
yeah.
we might as well just get on it.
So should we send? Do a couple of people want to go get Dwayne while I rest?
Icky will go.
Actually, if Icky went alone, that would be fastest because he could fly.
This is true. Cool. Yeah. Icky will gleefully do that. He'll take another, we'll pull off of the skin for the wine that we've been drinking, hand it over to Grelda, just be like, have as much of this as you would like, but before you go to bed, please refill it.
Grelda takes it as though she's been entrusted with like a sacred oath.
As she has.
Yes. Grelda correctly reads the gravity of the situation. So yeah, I guess, like if nobody has anything else that they want to laden Icky with or take from Icky, he'll head north.
All right, then I will say normal walking would take. What's your flying speed?
1,000,000. Oh, right. The weird changes that happened recently. It's 60.
Okay, so it'd be about a half hour for you to get there, as opposed to the hour walk that you had done as a group.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Okay, so as Icky's flying, what are the rest of you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna rest, but the image that Tammy sent, is it seriously that big?
Well, I mean, it is carrying all of you, and gargantuan creature takes up, like, on a battle map. It's 4 squares by 20 feet by 20 feet square.
Damn.
Because I mean, it needs to be able to hold 6 people and fly. So it ain't no joke. There's a reason that the Aarakocra almost started a fight when he saw you guys, when he saw him flying in.
So remembering that, well, I'll have, we can, if nothing else, nobody else wants to do anything, we can talk about what I do when I get to.
Oh, first, yes. So Icky kind of takes flight, starts making his way north. What do the rest of you do as he makes his way out of sight?
I'll head to the stables and start resting.
Okay. Anybody else? Grelda, Sinishi, Kendrick.
Hoping that someone will accompany me.
You can go by yourself.
Tarn will come join Geisen, kind of like if nothing else to kind of, if not rest, sit and brood.
All right. Hold on. You can only take one long rest in a 24-hour period. You long rested as soon as you got to Zinjalast. Then you went to the meat room. Then you teleported. It has only been like 4 hours since your last long rest ended. And you can only get the benefits. You can only get the benefits of a long rest once in a 24-hour period. I'm sorry. Should have mentioned that when you guys were doing your plans, so we can kind of like Scooby-Doo it back a little bit.
Damn. Okay.
So yes, you could take a long rest. You will not get the benefits of a long rest until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at like 6.
That's when we would have to start resting?
Yes.
Damn.
Because, you can only get the benefits of one long rest every 24-hour period. You can do as many short rests as you want, but the long rest just once. And yes, it has only been 4-ish hours since you ended your last long rest.
Do we still have a teleport scroll?
You burned that when you added it to your spell book.
Oh, okay.
told you we should have held on to that, dude, but you were all confident. No one else can know. So burned it.
Really had to use it.
I know.
Pass. No. So yes, my apologies for not mentioning that when you guys were making your plans. But
didn't Icky just get an ability that lets Geisen restore any kind of spell slot he wants to be able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants? I feel like I did.
The level 13 MacGuffin ability that
Yes. I'm more of a McDodo, but you know. Well, shit, there goes that plan, unless we want to hang out for a day, which shortens our Cadmus time. It's really our best bet. It's still our best bet.
Is the reason we're waiting just so we'd have the teleport capability when we get to the other side, if we need it?
No, we needed to leave here.
Oh, that's right. It's not like a step.
Yes, it's not an open portal. They're teleportation circles, but the teleport spell still needs to be used.
Yeah, I guess the only option is spend a night in the stables, right?
Doesn't Tarnin have a spell that he can like throw somebody into some weird time dimension where it's like a hyperbolic time chamber of some sort? Where time passes faster, or slower. No.
Doesn't he have the capability of speaking to his
Obi-Wan
patron to
Kenobi?
ask questions?
That's not so much an ability as something Bill does.
Yeah.
He asks his patron, and sometimes he gets an answer and sometimes he doesn't.
To tell him you're our only hope.
Well, and I think hasn't his patron been silent since he got his vengeance?
No.
The patron has given he's gotten some vague answers up at the monastery. He was asking like what's next. I know he's gotten some vague answers, so patron hasn't been completely silent. But he hasn't asked too much of it either since then.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think that he would go to the Obi well for this. Because I know he's been like all trepidatious about that relationship since it was based on vengeance, but now he's going to be like a good vengeance, but he doesn't know what that means yet. What does it mean?
Also, if we're going to be hanging around here for a bit longer, I'm going to survey the incredibly straight pews and wonder out loud if they might be better put into some type of interesting pattern.
As soon as you mention that, you hear a oh, and then the priest kind of like scuttles his way over. He's like, no, they're the way they should be. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think the pattern that they're in is the best pattern for our patrons. I do have some chalk outside. If you would like to make some drawings on the side of the church, you are welcome to.
Drawing on walls.
With sure.
Do you have any blood colored chalk?
White?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's here, let me, and he kind of opens the door and leads you outside, and it shows you like a bucket of like 5 pieces of chalk that are maybe like 3 or 4 inches a piece. Yes, please, nothing profane, but if you want to draw on this wall here, and then he just points to the wall right outside of the door. Feel free to express yourself in whatever way you would like. Just the pews would be best left as they are.
I don't know what you're thinking, Jill, but what I'm thinking is there will be like this bloody battle scene going on with like really realistic gore?
Yes, I am thinking.
He did ask for nothing profane.
What's profane about that?
Absolutely nothing.
Uh-oh, we lost Jill.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry. So what my thought here is, I want to do a recreation of the battle at Sandpoint. With like the dragons overhead and the giants stomping on people and everyone, like us all fighting and rallying and like, yeah.
All right, give me a performance check.
Ooh. 22.
All right. How long do you want to spend on this particular project?
I mean, I'm well rested. I'm not until the chalk runs out. Like,
all right. Well,
I run out of light.
We will say that you spend the better part of the next 2 hours drawing, and we will come back as you. So Shinichi is focused. And what are the rest of you doing as Shinichi has been ushered out and given and told to shut up in color?
Is the priest still
nearby? He has come back in after relaying Shinichi outside.
Geisen goes up to the priest. Does the church have a library by chance?
I have a handful of books from different religions that talk about their deities. I don't have anything in terms of like fiction reading material. Other than
I really got nothing else to do. Do you mind if I take a look at what you have?
Sure. Just hold on a moment. I will bring them out. And he kind of goes into the little side door on the northeastern corner. Goes in there, opens it, comes out a minute later with just 5 large, leather-bound, very well-used books. If you would like to read, I have these for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'll take good care of them.
All right, so I guess what is everybody doing right now? Like, what is the general
we're playing
idea?
D&D, Sean. Come on.
What? No, we're not. When did this start?
Grelda will heavily draw upon the ice wine, periodically come out, like, just sort of like admire what Sinishi's doing and like exclaim about particular parts that are nice, or maybe add a remembrance to help, get just the right imagery down. And then she'll also be going down, refilling Icky's skin, and then replacing a couple of her own empty skins with some of the ice wine.
Well, as far as I know, Icky, are you still? We kind of backed up since the plan.
Yeah, if Icky's not heading to Dwayne, but I do feel like he's not going to head to Dwayne. He is going to still hand off the ice wine. That whole interaction still happens. He's going to head out and fly around and kind of scout around just the outskirts of the city to see if he can identify a place a little close, like the closest place we could feasibly get Dwayne without causing a panic.
All right, give me a perception check, and then while you do that, Geisen, are you just planning on reading for a while, or was there a particular intention behind that?
Yeah, I was just gonna look through the books, see if anything piques my interest, because I'm not really aware of anything better that I can be doing at the time.
All right, Gendrick, anything in particular you want to spend the next couple hours?
Probably just doing maintenance on WD-41. Making sure the runes are etched properly on his armor and equipment, things like that.
Okay, so I guess just is the general idea, you guys are just hanging around until you get to the point where you can take a long rest?
I mean, like,
Just so I have an idea on what you guys are kind of thinking.
I think Tarnan, or I think somebody should. I think Tarnan would be likely to. Somebody should at least be keeping an eye out to make sure that there aren't other agents of the enemy that are coming through the church to use the portals or whatever. Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, Grelda would like to hang an out of order sign on the closet door.
In the basement?
Yep.
Okay.
And then as long as Geison's hanging out in the church reading anyway, he would kind of position himself so he can see the altar, so he would, be able to catch if somebody was going up or down.
All right. So in that case, Icky, what did you get on your perception check?
8.
An 8? All right. As you're kind of circling around above the town, trying to look for things without being overly like, hey, there's a big random flying object around the town. You do notice that like outside of town, it's mostly forest, and then there is the rivers that come through. And like along the riverbank, there's 40 to 50 feet of without any lumber or without any trees. So you could set Dwayne down on there. It would still be in sight of anybody that's on the river and anybody that's in town, but it's closer.
Okay.
And then Tarnan did roll a 28 on his perception, so he is keeping an eye out. Over the next couple hours, he doesn't notice anything that he would consider out of the ordinary. This isn't a town he's super familiar with, so as far as like the people and everything like that, he doesn't notice them acting any more strangely than he would expect, but he doesn't really have anything to compare it to in this place in particular. He doesn't notice anybody like watching or trying to sneak in or taking notes or anything like that.
I have an update for something Gendrick would like to do.
Oh yeah.
He's got a slot. He's got a spell slot. And we're going to do a long rest anyways. I would like to use my fabricate 4th level spell.
Okay.
To potentially, if there is a source of steel and leather, I should be able to make either splint. I feel like plate would probably take a while, but splint mail I feel like would be more reasonable. If that is something that Sanishi is capable of wearing. Given that she's currently wearing chain and splint is better.
I will say the wood, if you want, is very easy to come by, as there are a couple dozen pews inside of the church that are made of pure wood.
The perfectly aligned.
This perfectly aligned pews made of a heavy oak. As for the metal, you don't, at least in the church itself, you don't notice any abundant sources of metal or steel outside of what like you guys might have on your own person.
Gotcha. Okay.
There is you do notice that there's a blacksmith, like horseshoes mostly relative, like within eyesight, like kind of across the road and down a little bit. But when it comes to stuff readily available materials, it would mostly be the wood around you.
Let's say I had 10 gold. Could I buy enough raw steel in horseshoes with 10 gold to be able to magically turn that into strips of metal for...
I would say absolutely.
Splint mail.
With the amount you could get for 10 gold, yes.
Okay. So over... I guess it doesn't matter because it's being made with a spell. So some amount of time, we have a lot of time.
Yeah. And we don't need to rope. Like if you're going, I would just take away the 10 gold and we can just say you went over and purchased an exorbitant number of horseshoes from the local blacksmith. And it caused him to very surprised, and he had to go into the back and kind of pull the horseshoes out for you and just gave you a big wooden crate filled to the brim with a shit ton of horseshoes. So just take away 10 gold and you have a bunch of wood and a bunch of horseshoes.
So Gendrick would kind of come back into the stable and ask Shinichi, basically something along the lines like, I've had some plans to turn these horseshoes into an additional layer of metal armor on top of your chainmail. Is that something we could try? We have a lot of time to kill, apparently.
Where the fuck?
Because Splint in the description says it is vertical sheets of narrow strips of metal on top of chainmail. So I figure it's not like you get a new set, but like taking your chainmail, we could basically convert it into Splint with this spell.
Sounds good to me. Crap. This
Okay.
armor's helped me almost die a couple times, so I'll take a little more protection.
Yeah, it should help a little bit. It might prepare us for what's on the other side. Okay, so I'm casting Fabricate. That burns my 1 4th level spell slot. We'll just say the crate maybe mess it up a couple times, use up the crate of horseshoes, but I think that in your inventory, Shinichi, you should be able to get rid of the chainmail and replace it with Splint.
I just did, and it did add 1 to your armor class. It went from 16 to 17.
Nice.
All right, and then as the sun sets, the last light before the sun kind of goes down behind the roofs of the houses, everybody kind of comes outside on their way to the stables, and you see Shinichi finishing up her wall mural, and everybody is able to pick out Old Light, the Rusty Dragon. You're able to, like, Shinichi, considering she only had white and then the gray of the stone, she managed to depict the Black Dragon Glaurung flying over Old Light. You see the carnage caused by the giants smashing around. You're able to pick out the rivers and all of that, and it is actually quite impressive considering it looks a lot better than that, though. Sorry, Jill just
I'm not an artist
in Discord, and it looks a lot better than that. But it is extremely well done, considering it is on the stone side of a church. And then everybody kind of makes their way to the stables. And it would be about, we'll say 7 o'clock right now. Like I said, you guys have until about 4 a.m. before you can take your rest and actually get the benefits of it.
Yeah.
So you guys have a good 12 hours before you can or like 8 hours before you can rest, and then 8 hours during the rest. So you have about 16 hours before you can actually get the benefits of it. So if there's anything you guys want to do in that time.
Is there a bar?
What was that? I'm sorry?
Is there a bar in Hearts?
There could be.
Do you need there to be?
I don't. I do not believe that question has been proposed to anybody in Hearts as of yet.
I find it hard to believe that Icky was flying around, scouting around for spots, and he also did not happen to look for a bar.
Icky rolled an 8, so he saw a bunch of people going into a bunch of buildings, but that wasn't what he was looking for. He was looking more outside of the town.
Okay.
So I mean, Icky saw a bunch of people going into a couple of buildings, so one of those could have been a tavern. Absolutely.
So I think Shinichi had a good idea about kind of spreading the word about Dwayne. And so my proposal is we ask our priest friend here where kind of locals hang out in the evenings, where to get a little wet the whistle. Go hang out there and talk about how we're going to have this big avian show tomorrow. And I mean, like, look at me. I'm a big bird guy. That's crazy, isn't it? You know what's even crazier than a big bird guy? A bigger bird rock.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
But no, I think like if we just like legit just like go out and like have some drinks, be seen a little, start the rumor mill going about the fact that if folks see a big crazy bird thing hanging out in the next 24 hours, to maybe not try to kill it.
In fact, they should offer money.
Yeah, it's good luck.
I can sing my song about us to like help explain the mural that's now on their church.
Yeah, exactly. And you can go to one bar and I can go to another, and and that way we'll like spread it out, keep some distance between those things. But no, if anybody has any other suggestions, but I feel like that's a decent use of our time.
No, I think that sounds great. I'm absolutely down to even if I have to just find like a corner or the town square and perform there. I'll go sing about us a little bit, spread the word about Dwayne.
A good word.
A good word.
Are we all good with that question?
I think Tarnan would have some very nuanced and well thought out objections, but unfortunately, he had a little bit too much ice wine.
Yes,
and
he's been very quiet these last couple of hours. He's thinking.
He's just like.
Well, to be fair, he did say he was going to be more quiet.
Mm-hmm. Contemplative, just focused on getting to the next objective, and this is what gets us there, waiting.
Okay, then Geisen. You think the stables? It's going to take me like 10 minutes to cast.
And you need to give your offering. Incense and your offering.
Offering.
Last time we just said it was like a book or just paper, but it's something from your religion, which would be books.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, you burned paper last time, so that's all. So you just have to be somewhere where you can burn incense and something that kind of follows along with your religion.
So yeah, I guess I'll do. I should have enough paper to do it again, right?
I would say so.
Okay, so I guess I'll go to the stables, or maybe just outside. Well, incense isn't like an open flame or anything, right? It's like in the set.
No, but you would be burning paper as well.
Okay, then outside the stables, does it seem like a place that people are going to freak out if there's a small fire?
I would say like around the. I mean, it's to the point where it's night now, so just outside of the stables, or like in between the stables, like around the corner between the edge of the stables and the actual church itself. Like I would say, there's some room where if you lit a piece of paper on a fire, people wouldn't be completely freaking out.
Okay. Then I will do that, and I will.
All right, give me the question you're going to ask. Bless you.
All right.
That's not a question. Sorry. Go ahead.
Which of the usable teleportation circles in the room in which I receive my astromancy archive will safely bring us to the shortest accessible path via Dwayne the Rock to Katniss Crowflare in the modern day city of Marigold?
All right. So as you light the incense on fire, and you throw a couple of sheets of paper in there. The flames lick up from the pages and begin to dance. And you stare down at the paper, expecting the words to burn into them like they did last time. But as you are watching the flames, you see the flames themselves begin to take shapes. And rising from the page, you see a flame that ends up looking like Icky, like an Aarakocra. And you watch as it moves along the fire to an arch that looks like the gates you had seen. and you're able to see above the gate, spelled out in flames, is what was it? Zin Cerusian. Cyrusian. And you watch as this flame Aarakocra flies through this the arch, and then continues to fly, and you see a moon rise above it and then fall, and then you see it happen again, and then you see it happen a third time, and as the moon goes down the third time, all the flames just blink out of existence at the exact same time. And all that is left is a small char of the pages you had thrown in there.
Okay, so in Aarakocra, it flew through the Zin Cerusian gate. A moon went down, and then it went through the gate, and the moon went down 3 more times.
It went through the gate, and then the moon went down 3 times. Like the moon kind of like went over it 3 times.
So can everybody see this, or am I the only one that's able to see it?
Let me read this spell really quick. It says it puts you in contact with a god or a god's servant. So I'm going to say it's just something you see. If other people are staring at the flames, they just see flames, but you're able to divine whatever the message is.
Okay. So Geisen basically describes what I saw. My guess is that means something about 3 days. Maybe we're 3 days from, once we go through the portal, we'd be 3 days from Marigold. Anybody have any other thoughts?
No, that makes sense to me. I mean, maybe we get lucky and it's, if what you saw is an Aarakocra, maybe that's how long it would take me to fly. But Dwayne can go faster than I can.
That's what I was wondering, if that's what that meant. Yeah, I don't know. Was the detail of it enough to be able to tell, like, was it just a general Aarakocra? Was it actually icky?
I would say you could tell it wasn't icky. It was an Aarakocra, and it reminded you of the ones you had seen at Icky's monastery, but it did not look like any Aarakocra you had seen in particular.
Could it have possibly just been an Aarakocra because that was an image that God was looking at when God was
thinking of perfection? No.
Yeah.
It might actually be the Aarakocra Island, because I think it's on that side of the coast.
Oh,
Might be 3 days.
Isn't that just like a few days from Sandpoint, though?
yeah. Yeah, it was Riven Rake Island.
Yeah. So if you kind of go north from there past the Mirani Forest, I mean, that could be 3 days. I could see it.
Yeah.
Would we be able to guesstimate how far it would be from the Aarakocra Island to the vicinity of Marigold? How long that would take?
You would. Let's say right here. About 15 feet is 120 miles. So translate to about a day. So from Riven Rake Island to Ars Merrill, which you knew it was kind of north along the coast of there, that's about 2-ish days. As Dwayne flies. So depending on how far up the coast, that could be a reasonable assumption.
I mean, it could have been symbolic of something else too, but
It's true. Yeah, it could have nothing to do with the timing, but
Could be Zicky's soul leaving his body because you killed him. But well, whatever.
how long would it take Icky to fly that distance?
A little more than twice as long.
Yeah, I think we had figured out. I want to say it's about Dwayne flies about twice the speed that Icky did.
So it wouldn't be 3 moons for an Aarakocra.
For that particular distance, as what you were asking,
Yeah.
it would take more than 3 days for Icky to
Right.
fly there by himself. Yes.
If that's where it drops us.
What if he was carrying a coconut? He grip it by the husk.
That's a racist question.
All right. Well, at the least, our supposed answer is the Zin Sarusian gate. We don't know for certain that it'll take us to Aarakocra Island, and we don't know for certain that it's 3 days away. But that's apparently the closest safe portal that we can take to get there. So do we want to go with that plan?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I don't think we have any other better options at the moment, right?
I think this is our best option. Best case we save Uncle, worst case we avenge him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then we'll continue our waiting to rest plans.
All right. Icky will move forward with the shaking down the priest for a location of a bar to go and drink and talk of the whimsies of bird people and their gigantic bird friends.
Going inside and asking the priest, well, there is only one tavern establishment in Haas. It's the Sour Vintage. They happen to have food and drink and rooms as well, but it might not be as nice as many of the places your friends have stayed in their life, but it has what you're looking for.
That sounds like just the place I am looking for indeed. Thank you very much, sir. Turn to the party. Anybody care to join me? Like Sinishi?
Yeah, I'll go try
Especially
to
well,
sing my songs.
What was that, Lars?
Geisen will go with.
Is anybody not going with?
I don't think so.
Ronan would absolutely be going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sounds like we're all going. Oh
All
wait,
right.
Gendrick, are you going?
I was just gonna think if we have any stuff here, someone should probably watch over it, but we might not.
I don't believe you actually.
Yeah,
left
we've
it.
been just teleporting around all willy-nilly.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, everyone should go then.
All right, then about like a 3 or 4 minute walk down the main road towards the river. You do come to a 2-story wooden building. As you push open the door, directly across from you, you do see an L-shaped bar with 5-6 stools in front of it. To the left, you see what are makeshift booths. There's a 6-foot tall wooden slat and then like a 4-foot wide wooden slat teeing in front of it, and then tables in between a couple of those slats to kind of separate them a little bit, give them a little privacy. And then there are just some round tables, 4 sets of them with 5 or 6 chairs kind of spread in the middle. And then on your far right, there is a hearth with some fire coming out of it. And in that case, there you go. That's kind of the the bar that's directly across from you. At this time of night, you do. There are 3 of the little booths to your left. You do see that 2 of those are currently taken, with a couple of people in each. There's nobody currently at the bar, but out of the 5 tables that are in the middle of the tavern, 2 of them seem to be full of people. There's 5 people at one table, and then a table directly in front of you has 6 sitting around it, but the rest of the tavern seems to be pretty empty.
What are those, stools for ants?
Yes.
Thank you. I was just like, I wonder if Grelda can pile a couple of them on top of each other so that her head would actually be visible.
If that's what we're going to get stuck on, I'm going to stop using scenery pictures to set the mood.
But I do. I mean, it's totally fine. Pictures.
Those are pretty short stools. I will admit. I don't even remember where I got this particular scene from, but it's. I'm
just curious if that like a style of stool, like people kneeled or instead of sitting or something, or.
I honestly have no idea, but yeah, it is definitely not to scale as it should be.
All right. So let's say on the walk, Grelda would have returned Icky's full wineskin to him.
Thank you.
When we get in the bar, Grelda immediately marches in a very businesslike manner, steps on one of these step stools so that she can see over the bar, and
consider
asks,
them normal size stools.
do I need to do an acrobatics check to get into a normal size stool? And asks the bartender what sort of alcohol they serve.
All right, so behind the bar, there seems to be a just past middle-aged woman, fairly thin. She's a human woman. She has dark brown hair that is tied tight in a bun with you see a fork sticking through it, holding it in place. She has a plain brown dress on, and she just leans over and kind of looks down at you. You looking for what kind of liquor are you looking for, dear?
Tell me what you got, and I'll tell you what I want.
Well, we got wine, we got ale. That's about it.
What kind of ale? Tell me about your ale.
And then she kind of looks back at the kegs behind her. Yeah, we've got some wheat ale, some pale ale, some dark ale, and some even darker ale. Yeah, you look like you could handle any of those.
I'll take one of each, please. And then one of each for my well, actually, you know what? Just one of each for me, and then I'll pick the best, and then I'll bring a larger amount back to the group.
For you? Are you going to spread them around amongst your friends?
No, not yet.
No, all right. And then she turns back and begins to pour mugs of each and sets them each in front of you. From your left to your right, you see the wheat, the pale. There's a dark lager and then a dark stout, just kind of giving you a flight in front of you. That'll be 2 gold pieces for all 4 of those. And then she looks at the rest of you. Do I need to make 4 for each of you?
Not yet.
How much gold was it? Was it 2 or 4?
2.
2. Okay. There were numbers that happened in the same sentence, and that's always going to throw me for a loop. All right. So I motion Icky over. All right. We begin with the palest, the furthest, and both of us will taste
the
it.
Darkest, starting with the darkest and working backwards.
Lightest.
Oh, okay.
Start with the lightest and go.
As you take a sip, it's like, that's our golden wave. It's very it's got a honey flavor.
All right.
Other character.
Yes.
Is half a gold a beer? Is that a normal price? It seems expensive.
For some of them. Oh wait, no, you are right. I'm sorry. It's silver.
I wasn't gonna say anything because Grelda doesn't care.
Silver. No, you are. That's a good call. Yep. No, I've got a little thing, and it says copper pieces, not silver pieces.
Oh.
2 copper, 5 copper, 6 copper, and then 1 silver. So it's about 2 silver pieces altogether.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So then
Good call, sir.
As this is going on, I'm going to ask the lady, would you mind if I did some entertainment and played some songs, but original and non, for your patrons?
You're welcome to try. If might end up pulling you off there if you're too bad, but it's worth a shot.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna go sit in a nice little corner somewhere that, good acoustics, and
good luck.
Tune up and start singing about the Sandpoint 5 and our attacks on whales. And
all right, well, you can give me a performance check quick. And then she does let you know that it's the beers are Golden Wave, Moon Mountain Ale, Siren Song, and Toppled's Giant, from light to dark. All right, so what was your performance check?
18.
18. You actually, everybody, you specifically because you're paying attention, but everybody notices that the murmurs in the tavern kind of go down, and everybody pays attention to Sinishi's songs, and they are very. You come a long way from when you were first performing on the boat and driving people nuts, and it is an enthralling tale about whales and dragons and bad beer and T-Rexes and mammoths and fun and crazy adventures. So yes, it is quite an enthralling performance. All right, is there anything anybody else would like to do or ask while we're here?
I think Icky and I would like to continue Mickey and mine's tasting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so between the two of us, we finished the first one, and I'm like, it's good, but I think it's a little one note. Just the honey. All right, so let's try the impale ale.
A good excuse to move on to the next. That's
the pale is actually extremely watery. The flavor is very light to the point where it's very hard for you to get any good notes out of it. It's very disappointing.
With a very straight face, Grelda does ask the barkeep, "Where do you get this one from?"
You'll have to ask the owner, dear. He brings them in and I serve them.
All right, well, tell him it's garbage.
I'll pass along your criticism, lass.
Will Icky finish it? Because Grelda won't.
Yeah, like Icky will finish it. And he's like, oh, it's not necessarily bad to have like some water as a palate cleanser between your beverages. So I see. I feel that's probably where they're shooting with this one.
I just want to point out that one of the beers, was it Mountain Moon or something?
Mm-hmm. Moon Mountain Ale.
We did see the in the fire, the moon going down 3 times. Maybe it just meant we're supposed to have 3 of that beer.
But wasn't that the crappy one that Icky just downed?
It was.
Oh, that was that one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can buy Icky 2 more.
Why? He was like, I'll do it for the cause if I must.
Nice. All right, so on to the Siren Song Dark Ale, or Dark
Lager. And it has a very it's very smooth, malty flavor. It's like on the higher side of good. It's not the best you've ever had, but it's much better than average.
All right, Grelda kind of nods, drinks her half, and lets Icky have the other half.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then, I mean, she's a dwarf. She can handle a lot of beer.
Yeah.
So next up is the even darker.
The Toppled Giant. All right. You get hints of dark cocoa along with roasted coffee and almost a cigar aftertaste. And I am absolutely not Googling dark stouts and reading the first one that pops up.
I was gonna say like that sounds a little inspired.
All right. So Grelda will then buy 2 more of the mountain ale for Icky.
No.
And
That'll be another silver.
One silver for
Another silver for 2 cups of water.
2 cups of water.
It's like Coors Light.
And then a round of the dark for the table.
The Topple Giant. Okay, that would
the dark. Yeah.
So for 6 of you, that would be a gold and 2 silver.
The dark evil beer.
The dark.
All right. Paid up.
All right. Is there anything anybody else would like to do while you are in the Sour Vintage Tavern?
Like Icky would, just amongst the group, be talking loudly about how excited he is to, be able to show off all the Avian Pride week festivities tomorrow by bringing in Dwayne. Legitimately trying to spread rumor that there's going to be a big fucking bird that's going to show up at some point tomorrow, and that it's cool because it's a thing. That's cool.
The bartender's like leaning back, just cleaning her glass. She's like obviously like not even pretending not to pay attention. She's just kind of giving you an odd look. There's going to be a giant bird.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. You can ask Grelda. Grelda knows all about avian pride and celebrating it, even though she is wingedly impaired.
But why?
He kind of like fluffs up about a bit and is like,
that's how
dwarves
are born.
Yeah, and Grelda like chips in like, because she's pretty loose now. She's not drunk, but she's pretty loose. So she's like, yeah, avian pride. That's it. You don't celebrate that? That's embarrassing, really. What you need to do is really get feathers, like wear a feathered headdress or tie feathered, charms to your, like pins to your outfit. And that helps you get into the feathered pride spirit.
Yeah, like I would be happy to like Icky kind of just like ruffles himself a little bit, and any little feathers that come off, he just kind of gathers them up. It's like I'd be happy to contribute, and this is why we do this. This is why we travel, because nobody knows, and without the awareness that folks like myself and Dwayne bring, nobody would be aware, and that's what this is all about, awareness.
And she reaches forward and like, what was that?
I was gonna say, I feel like Tarnan would give you a look. Like
I was gonna say, yeah,
to get feathers.
Yeah, like he would be incredulous.
Yeah, he would. Like I had to sneak them and steal them, and she kind of reaches out, and, like grabs the feathers. So this is a normal thing.
And then Icky will kind of like gesture towards Tarnan. He's like, yeah, of course. He's ready, right?
And then she takes the feathers and kind of like tucks one up like in her bun right next to the fork. All right. I mean, I want you to feel welcome and all, but all right.
Go ahead though. Like, thank you. Just just look out here, expanding minds, living our lives.
How big of a bird are we talking about?
So those big squares that are everywhere that are like 5 feet by 5 feet that just like seem to kind of be really consistent the world over? Yeah, 4 of those.
Are you feeling okay? Did you get your head hurt?
I'm over the moon.
Do all birds see in squares?
I don't know if I know you well enough to answer that question.
All birds see in squares.
I mean, let's be real. Dwayne's floor plan is like just barely smaller than my first apartment.
So she does take the feathers and kind of tuck them behind the bar.
Like all silliness aside, ma'am, this is a large bird. like we this bird is our ride. To give you an
We've
idea.
been told he's gargantuan.
Does he have to come into town?
Just for a moment. You'll barely know he's here.
I hope so.
In fact, we may likely not even come into town. Probably just get right outside the gates.
I'm gonna let you in. Oh no, that's a secret. Giant birds might scare some people. So, out of town.
That's why we hold the festivals. People get frightened by birds, and they shouldn't.
The fear is just so hurtful.
If you were gargantuan, I would probably be quite scared of you as well. Just being honest.
Some people
overhearing this conversation, I'm going to kind of take a bit of a turn in my storytelling and start telling stories about these wonderful celebrations that we have done. Just kind of to, further the gargantuan bird cause.
All right. And what was that, Lars?
I was just gonna say, I mean, not only is there a lot of fear, some people doubt that that birds even exist.
They do find birds of unusual size to be a difficult thing to believe in.
BOUSs.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull a Tarnin here, and I'm gonna imagine that Tarnin has rolled his eyes so much that he's got a headache, and he's just staring into his mug of beer to avoid getting eye contact and being pulled into this shenanigans.
Yeah, he's trying really hard to pretend he's not with the rest of us right now.
So is there anything else that anybody would like to do while you're in this particular tavern now that the locals have been made aware of the BOUSs?
We set out to raise awareness, and we have done this.
I feel like everybody here is much more aware already.
Yeah, I do feel like Grelda might just, because she's very relaxed. That was quite a lot of beer. Just keep going. Do you have any seed cakes? Because those are great on the festival day.
I can't say we have any seed cakes. We've got fish and bread and stew and grape leaves and spinach pie.
Birds love fish and bread. I would say those are great. If you could slap together some kind of seed cake with honey, I think that would be really exceptionally appropriate. And you could sell them, at the parade.
There's going to be a parade.
There is now.
I mean, once you see this bird, you are going to want to be in a parade.
Geisen, what was that?
Geisen kind of pulls Grelda aside and kind of whispers, "We don't want to bankrupt this woman to have her prepare for some parade that's not coming. We're just trying to raise awareness of Dwayne coming."
Who says there's not going to be a parade? I'm down for a parade. Are you down for a parade? You have some illusion spells, right? We could make it really good. Sinishi could sing a song about how great birds are.
Yeah.
I have this idea. It goes something like, the bird, bird, bird. The bird is the word. Has anyone told you about the bird?
I'm just
work in progress.
I'm envisioning a whole scene like from Moana, where Maui, the whole "You're Welcome" song, where we're just parading our ways through the series, hey everybody, we're just it's just some bird shit, and and then we're just gone. But like, we haven't taken anything.
I'm envisioning us taking the time to put on this parade, and then we're gonna arrive at Katniss like moments after, like just like seconds.
If only we would have gotten here 10 minutes before.
Like, I told you we didn't need a float. It's a beautiful float throw. Goddamn.
Icky has never felt more appreciated, seen, and aware.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably about 9 o'clock in the evening at this point.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows.
So yeah, other than just general bird talk, to kind of start rumors going around town. So folks I think that bringing like kind of like to everybody here, like I think really, I think just kind of bringing Dwayne as close as we can to the town, and then polymorphing him and running in real quick and then teleporting through is probably the best. Sounds like these people aren't ready for Dwayne to walk among them.
So Sean.
Yes.
You asked what language, and I've had one in my head this whole time. I wasn't sure that it made sense, but it did say when I attuned it, I had to choose it. So the first one that came to my mind was Aarakocran, because it was the one I couldn't find any books on. Okay. So it would, Grelda assumes that'll be the hardest one to learn. So she now knows Aarakocran, and she would spend some time teaching the bartender how to say like cheers in Aarakocran and like hello.
Nice. Okay, over. Why don't we throw out another gold just in the amount of drinks it would take to get the bartender to participate and learn this particular verbiage? And I will say by the end, bartender is playing along very nicely, and you even have a couple of random customers repeating after you. And at that point, it's probably about 11 or midnight. Like, it was the last couple hours of trying to get people into it while Sanishi sings songs about giant birds and how amazing they are and how they are, in fact, the word.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that at the very end, the bird is the word song is so ingrained in everyone's earworm head that like they're like singing it at the top of their lungs, and like frothy beer is going spilling as they just, are super into it. And I did take away another gold. Yes.
Okay. All right. I just need 5 quick minutes, and then we will pick up after after the bird is the word has been sloshed all over the Elf Song Tavern, or the was it the sour? And then we will pick up. Let's say about 11:30 in the evening.
And it's not until we have to wait until like 4 a.m. to be able to make use of that.
To be able to start the long rest. I mean, you can rest for as long as you want. You would just from 4 till noon is what you would need to do to get that long rest.
Now, Icky's going to want to earn that sleep with many, many ales. At least those 3. Plus with the way Icky drinks, I would probably say a full gold. Full gold?
Full gold. The amount of alcohol you would ingest. Yeah, because the dark stout is 2 silver a mug, so a good 5 of those. And if anybody else would be drinking during that time, I would say at least 6 silver pieces, if not more, just depending on how much you think your character would drink. And then we'll pick up about 11:30 in the evening. If anybody would like to do anything else at the tavern, how late people are planning on staying there.
Icky would, probably if it's like the only real gathering spot in the town, Icky would probably stay until like Oh, like maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock, unless enticed to do something else by somebody else.
Yeah. Would anybody else plan on leaving earlier than that, or would that be about the time everybody would call it?
We don't really have anywhere to leave to go to, right?
With what you guys had been planning, no.
I would leave earlier if the bar cleared out of other people, because I don't just want to be telling stories to my friends.
I would say about midnight, you guys would be the only people left.
I'd probably just then head back to lay down and try to compose.
Okay. If anybody else would want to leave with her, otherwise, like Iki said, probably around the 1:30, 2 o'clock range, the tavern would pretty much shut down.
I guess I'll head back with this issue.
Okay.
I think you'll head back shortly after.
So unless people would want to do anything else, I would say by about 2 o'clock, everybody would be back at the stables. Not listening to tavern music. There we go. Okay, so it is a relatively clear night. The moon is out, and it's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
At this point, again, unless anybody had anything that called to them, Nikki would kind of be like, all right, guys, been a long night, been a long day. I think it's about time for me to turn in.
So I would say it is about 2 o'clock. If people went to bed now, sleeping 10 hours instead of 8, you would get that full rest and you'd wake up around noon.
Nikki makes sure to hydrate, but then, figure was drinking healthily enough to help that next 10 hours pass with relative ease.
All right. Is there anything anybody would want to do or wake up early or anything like that over that time? Otherwise, we can just kind of fast forward to noon the next day.
Tarnin would probably wake up early to do some Tarnin stuff.
I don't suppose he has like I don't know how
morning
his character
or
works. Like, does he have a contact, like a criminal contact in town?
Not that he would be aware of.
Okay.
Oh no, I guess. I mean, I believe Tarnin has something because he's an elf that he only needs 4 hours of meditation instead of a full 8-hour rest. But I would need to double check on that. But either way, I don't think, because the last time you guys stayed here, he didn't do anything along those lines either. So I would say y'all would wake up around noon with a long rest. So you can all hit long rests on your... Let me see. And you would wake up at about noon, sun in the sky, and the day is yours.
All right. Well, do we want to just get right to it, friends? We've burnt a lot of time that we have left for the uncle.
Yeah, I think we might as well grab Dwayne and meet up outside the. Well, I guess where do we want to meet up with him? Maybe to polymorph him.
I'd say I'll go get him, and then bring him back just outside of town, close enough so that like I could fly him, like fly the teeny him and the teeny you, Geisen, over to back to the chapel, so we can kind of maximize the amount of time we have on the polymorph, and then hopefully everybody else will be waiting and ready to just kind of jump through at that point.
Yep, I figure the rest of us who are not needed for the polymorph will be, or getting Dwayne, polymorphing, blah blah blah. I would just be waiting at the doorway, so we are all ready to enter and go in together, ASAP.
You said P.
All right, so like I said, it is about a half-hour flight there.
Yep.
Does anybody want to do anything while Icky is gone? Just double checking.
I might go touch up my mural from anything that happened overnight.
You would see that it is your mural has become kind of hazy because of all the dew that happened overnight, and it is chalk. So you would be able to touch it up, but it has kind of just rubbed a little bit just from the condensation on the side of the building. Anybody else do anything over the next hour from the time Icky would leave and come back? All right, then Icky, about a half-hour flight. You do find the same copse of trees that Dwayne was behind. You do notice that he does have a couple of scratches on him. He is whole, but you do see some footprints around him, some large animal tracks. It seems that he's been here and he has not been alone the whole time, but he is whole.
Okay. I guess I'd take a quick look at Dwayne to see if I could assess just like how much damage he's taken, how beat up he is, if there's anything that I might want to consider doing to ease him.
You don't get the sense that it's anything too bad.
Yeah.
You see a little, like some scratches, a little bit of dried blood, but nothing too intense.
Okay. And just I guess I'd take a look at the tracks around to just verify that they all do look just kind of like, oh, some wilderness shit.
Give me a nature check.
You sure you don't want not nature? 13.
Okay. You can tell that they are from a medium, like a large, medium to large size animal. You're not sure if they're like a bear or a puma or something like that, but you can tell it was a larger animal that kind of circled around a couple of times, and then there's a lot of stamps like right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the sense that whatever it was kind of gave him a few sniffs, circled around, tried something, didn't like it, and then made their way back out into the forest.
Fucked around, found out.
Fucked around, found out. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I'll give like Dwayne a little scritch and a nuzzle, being like, yeah, way to hold your own, buddy. Well, let's head back to town. We got some work to do.
All right, so you hop on Dwayne and you begin flying. And as everybody is kind of waiting for you to come back, everybody's waiting. Where are you guys waiting? I should say, are you guys waiting at the stable?
Tyson shouldn't be.
Yeah, we're planning to wait or to meet up outside of town. So I would be there, and presumably there'd be at least somebody with me.
I would think we'd all be there, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we can all be there.
I'm just making sure. So everybody's standing like kind of past the gates. I would say like a couple hundred feet past the gates outside of town along the road. And as Dwayne comes into your view and you see him flying towards you, everybody hears just kind of the soft chanting from back into town. Everybody hears, "Bird is the word. Bird is the word. Bird is the word," as Dwayne is kind of flying towards. And then Dwayne lands in front of the group, and you just hear it just softly continuing. It's not the whole town, but you can tell there's quite a few people chanting it until Dwayne lands.
So, Icky just feels such pride. So, if are there any townsfolk outside by chance, or is it just the group who've joined or who've gathered?
It is just you. Everybody else is all the townsfolk are still in the town.
All right. Well, Geisen, probably time to do this thing, huh?
Let's do it.
Righto.
What What are we thinking here? Squirrel, mouse? What would be?
I mean, a small bird would probably be the most.
Yeah, like, is there such thing as like a pocket canary or something?
Pocket canary?
I don't know birds. I just
Like a quail.
Yeah, I do think staying within bird would be the least disruptive to Dwayne's mental health.
Does
Yeah.
Dwayne have mental health? Isn't he like not a real?
Not.
He's not a real bird.
He didn't mean it, Dwayne. He didn't mean it. But like legitimately, the smallest bird of flight that you could muster is probably what I would go for.
Hummingbird? Can you do a hummingbird?
before we do that, we might want to, I don't know, get some type of like slip knot around his neck so he doesn't just go take off on us.
He'll
Or
listen.
no, we can tell him to stay with us.
Yeah,
He listens to Icky.
All right, and Icky, you're gonna handle carrying him.
Gonna what? I'm sorry.
You will handle carrying him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I got him. I got him.
Okay. Is like a songbird a thing? Can I can choose like any animal basically, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So you just need to pick whatever species of bird you want to turn her into.
How about a cardinal?
Cardinal would work. All right, so mark off a polymorph spell. It is concentration up to an hour. And then Dwayne just, from gargantuan down to this small red cardinal on the ground. He's just kind of just standing there looking at everybody.
And you're like,
So
like, all right.
Dwayne is a male rock.
Yeah.
All right, now we need to hightail it because we only have an hour to get wherever we're going.
Yeah. So Icky will be like, have Dwayne like get up here, get up on the shoulder, buddy, and start hightailing it to the monastery.
All right, so as you guys kind of make your way back in town, you do see like 7 or 8 people like standing outside of their houses along the street. And as you walk by and make your way to the church, hold on, I gotta figure out who has.
Icky's apparently flailing dramatically.
Yeah. He'll
So Tarnin and Tarnin has the highest passive perception, and Grelda's the second closest. So Tarnin and Grelda, as you're walking, you do hear just like an old man kind of in the back. This is the worst parade I've ever seen. As you kind of walk by, and then you make your way to the church.
We may have oversold it, guys.
So you do come to the church. You do make your way inside, and the priest is there, and actually in his robe, like sticking just out of his collar, there is one of Icky's feathers, kind of to the side, and he kind of looks at everybody and goes, "I heard there was going to be a parade."
You're looking at it, buddy, and now it's your job to keep it going around town. Go, go, go! We believe in you. And he just heads downstairs and doesn't even wait.
We're here to plant the seed, okay? I know this town can make this parade something special and spectacular. And then Grelda goes downstairs too.
He just kind of like looks at each of you and then looks back outside. And as each of you step down, looks back outside. All right. All right. So everybody does make their way downstairs through the undercroft into the door that you had been to before.
We're so good at disappointing townsfolk.
I mean, I suppose the running a bird appreciation parade is probably a better use for his time than running a church that worships a false god.
Start worshiping a bird god. Diablo,
Alright,
nice.
Into
You're welcome.
The wardrobe.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Into the wardrobe.
You do have the key.
Yeah. Let's
Well,
let's
Tyson
do
would
it.
Not be the first one in.
All right. So who will be? What will be your marching order as you put the key in, turn it, and open the door?
Tarnan would probably go first. Icky will follow. Y'all do whatever then. You're muted, love.
I'll head in last, grumbling about it a little bit.
And so Tarnan, Icky, Grelda.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Especially if Sinishi's in the rear. Because
And
then there's somebody to watch the rear, not because Grelda's avoiding Sinishi.
All right. So as you open the door, or you put in the key, you open the door. You do notice that it is the same room with the long hallway and then the Sahedron at the bottom. The light in the room does not seem to be pulsating anymore. It seems to be a steady red, as opposed to like the heartbeat pulsating that it was doing before. And as everybody makes their way in, the door quickly creaks and slams closed behind you. And Tarnan notices that the key that he intentionally kept, like he unlocked it, opened the door, took the key out. As soon as the door slammed, the key vanished from his hand. And you are in the room with the Sahedron on the floor.
All right.
I think it's the red gate.
That would be correct.
Somebody's taking good notes.
Somebody is taking notes. At least someone is.
My notes were not good enough to mention the color. That was like Zin Sarushian is the third part of the accordion that we got. It was for Sinishi. I have notes for that. If you want to see my Lord Kurzog face to face, you will need to travel to Zinshalast, then make the journey through the gate to the dimension of Lang, where he waits. Your boon is at the gate to Zinsushian.
There you go.
Yeah. I didn't actually take those notes. I just snuck into Sean's house in the night, and while I was watching over him sleep, I copied down some of his DM notes.
Nice. A for effort on that one. All right. So you go to your left and you do see the gate that says Zinsarusian on the top, like over the archway.
Mm-hmm.
Dyson just looks over the group. Everybody ready?
Yes. Let's just do this. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Onward.
Before I cast it, I'm gonna just cast Mage Armor just so I'm ready for
Okay.
the other side.
Go ahead and mark that off. And then
Cast Teleport.
and then as you cast teleport, you get the same pins and needles feeling. Everybody gets that over their body. Your vision is filled with a bright white light. And as it passes and your vision begins to clear, you find yourselves in a room that you are at first unsure if it's the same room you were in before. It is the same marble stone, the same benches, the same receiving room in looks that you had been to before. As you do turn around and take in the entire room, you do notice that where the previous room had a side of it collapsed, this one does not. So you do notice it's a little different, but the benches, the color of the stone, everything else is exactly the same. You look in front of you and there is the large double door with the Sahedron with some markings on the inside that have been scratched out and larger markings on the outside. But other than that, you notice that it is almost identical to the room you were in previously.
There, what's in place of where the closet door was in the other room?
I think you mean that's the same as the Zen slash.
The room you teleported to in Zinshot.
Oh, my bad. All right,
it is that particular receiving room where everything was carved out of the same wood. It is almost identical. The only difference being that the part of it that was collapsed in the previous room is not in this room.
Gotcha.
The door, the markings, the benches, all of that is identical.
And there's also a very similar meat room with a very similar dragon.
There's a little
Everything leads back to
unsettling,
Zinj
guys.
Celeste. All right, I see everybody taking turns yawning. Arriving here might not be a bad place to stop before any more exploration happens, since everybody seems to be ready to go to sleep. You're muted,
You're muted, love.
Nate.
That might not be a bad idea.
So yes, we will stop at the arrival to this this new room, this new location, and we will pick up there next time.